Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Spirituality with Gabriella. If it's your first time here, welcome. On this channel, I do pick a card tarot readings, and I also talk a lot about energy and how to protect your energy, how to live a more balanced lifestyle. We're all in need of that. So today we have a pick a card reading on your life with your future spouse. So we're going to dig into what kind of life do you lead with this person? How are they? How do they treat you? How's your life together? Do you have a family? Do you have kids? Do you have a house, an apartment, a condo? Whatever it is that comes through, I'm going to share it. And before I introduce the piles, I did want to show you that I'm using the Soul Cards Tarot deck today, and I have a raffle, which is very exciting. So if you look at the links down below, basically I'm hosting a raffle on Wizio. So there's only 12 spots available at the time that I'm recording this video. All you have to do is book a special intuitive tarot reading. It is a video of 15 minutes from me to you, so ask any questions you would like. And then once you've done that, you are entered automatically into the raffle where you could get the chance to win a Soul Cards Tarot deck. And I'm just going to show you a little bit what this deck looks like. It's absolutely beautiful, and I've used mine a lot, so yours will be a lot nicer and more new, but it's gold, like you can see, and these are like velvety kind of cards. Like, they're just really beautiful. They're really easy to shuffle. So if you're interested in learning tarot or in reading for yourself or others, the Soul Cards deck is one that I always recommend people. So you will win that, potentially, if you're the winner, and another in-depth intuitive reading from me. So basically, you'd be getting 2 readings and a deck for a pretty good price, if I say so myself. So check it out, and I'm linking all of that down below. So without further ado, let's get into the piles that we are working with today. Over here we have pile 1 with the Carnelian. Here we have pile 2 with the Apatite. Here we have pile 3 with the Amethyst. And here we have pile 4 with the Emerald. So take all the time you need to pick your pile, and once you are ready, you can use the timestamps down below to get your own reading, and I will see you there. Thank you so much. All right, pile 1, welcome to your reading. So your first card is the Chariot, which is an amazing first card to get, and look at how beautiful that is, glowing there under the light. The Chariot is a very successful card born of hard work. So let's see what else is coming through about your life with your future spouse. So you have the 3 of Wands and the Ace of Pentacles here, and then we can also use the Light Seers Tarot deck here. See what else comes through. And also ask if there's anything you need to know about this life with your future spouse, anything you need to be mindful of or aware of. Desert Passage. All right, so let's start here. So the first thing I'm getting is with the Chariot, I feel like you and your future spouse are very aligned. Or on the traditional Rider-Waite deck, the Chariot is a man. He's like an emperor kind of vibe, or he's some kind of king-like figure, and he has these 2 sphinxes on either side, and one of the sphinxes is dark and the other one is light, but there's a great unity between the 2 of them. And so what I'm getting is you and your future spouse might be a little bit opposites in some ways. Like, they might like different things from you. You might not have all of the same overlapping interests. I'm getting a big energy around sports, for example, but maybe they just like watching TV and watching games on the TV. But I'm getting that even though you 2 are kind of opposites, there's like this great balancing, and opposites attract. And this could even play into zodiac signs. So for example, if you are a Scorpio, perhaps your future spouse is a Taurus. That's kind of the energy I'm getting. So I'm getting some really positive tension, but to me it feels like the 2 of you really love each other. Like, you're really, really aligned, and on all of the most important things in life, like where to live, how many kids to have if you want kids, and all of that kind of stuff. I feel like you 2 are on the same page, which is really good. It's just that your base personalities might be a little bit different. I will say, I feel like both of you are pretty easygoing. So to me, it kind of feels like your future spouse is a very hard worker. I feel like they put a lot of pressure on themselves. Like they're the type of person where in school, they always wanted to get a 4.0 or straight A's or whatnot. Whereas you're like, I'm a hard worker, but if I did my best, then that's the most I can do. And I'm not gonna push myself to do anything more than that because my best is good enough. So I feel like there's a little bit of difference in ideology there. But with the Chariot, I'm seeing like the two of you can really come together. I feel like there's a lot of positive harmony and partnership. And I do feel like there are big decisions to be made in your relationship and connection over the course of your life. I'm getting a lot of international vibes, a lot of traveling vibes. I feel like your spouse or you might have a job that moves you overseas. And that is a big decision point that needs to be made in your life because that not only affects you two, but if you have kids, for example, it would affect your family as well. I'm getting a lot of career energy around your spouse. So I feel like this person really cares about their career, really wants to be successful, really cares about being recognized as well, but they're always working really hard. Like I'm just getting like really, really hard. Like they really want to work as hard as they can. And because of that, they end up making a lot of money. They end up being really successful. We have the Three of Wands here. This is all about traveling. This is about taking action on your dreams and your desires. And with the wand energy, that's about inspiration. So your spouse and you have this amazing ability to make your dreams into a reality because you both are very good at making your dreams practical. I'm getting like a lot of Virgo energy, so that might be you or your spouse, but I'm getting an energy of a lot of organization and planning. So I feel like your spouse might desire, for example, to become like the vice president of the department that they work for, and you might desire to have your own company. I'm just saying these as examples based on what I'm picking up, but to me it feels like a lot of organization, a lot of stability. Every decision you make is made together, all of the momentous ones at least, and they're made in a very thoughtful way. I see a lot of money for the both of you because you have Ace of Pentacles. This is the kind of relationship where I think it'd be very easy for you to marry into money. I wouldn't be surprised if they have money. I'm getting like self-made person, but they also might have some family money. So either they're really hardworking and they've made all of their own money, or they had some family money and they're still really hardworking. So your spouse is somebody who is very motivated. They really care about having a good lifestyle and they want that for you too. I feel like you two are going to get a dog together if you don't already have one. I'm seeing like a small white dog. So for somebody out watching this, that probably is your dog that I'm seeing. It's like a cockapoo or a Bichon or something like that. But I'm getting that you two will have a dog together. I do feel the presence of children. So I think it varies depending on who's watching this reading. But should you want children, I see between 2 and 4 children for you. And I'm getting a very strong daughter energy. So perhaps you want a daughter or you already have a daughter. I think it's very possible you'll have at least 2 daughters. So that's beautiful. And what I want to say is you and your future spouse are very good at teaching your children manners. So your children are going to be very polite. They'll be well educated. But the number one thing that comes through is polite. Like they are very poised. They're elegant. They know what they're doing. They're not going to be rude. They're not going to be messy. They're the type of children who are just very well behaved. And that's because you and your future spouse know what to do. You know how to almost train them in that way is what's coming through. So we also have 2 of Cups here. And one thing that I like about this card is I feel like you and your future spouse do have a very romantic relationship. So one of the barriers is that you are both very busy and you are both pretty focused on your goals. So for your spouse, I feel this definitely manifests in their career. For you, I think it can manifest all different types of ways. Like you might actually really care about learning. You might sign up to school or even take further education and things like that. But to me, it feels like although you're both really busy, you have a very comfortable relationship and it feels very soft, very romantic, harmonic, the type of energy where when your spouse comes home from work, you're the first one there to hug them and you really spend time giving them that hug and really just soaking in their essence. And that feels really beautiful to me. There's a lot of sensitivity here. I feel like your spouse is very romantic with you. Like your spirit guides are showing them with red roses and just doing all the classic things a great spouse else would do, like the things that you watch on the movies. So to me, this feels like a very beautiful, harmonious, and also physically rewarding relationship. Like I think the two of you have a lot of chemistry. If you see this card here, these two people are different. You know, they're different in some ways. Like here, one is lighter, one is darker. But again, there's this great harmony, and from that they create color. So how beautiful is that? Like from the dark and the light, they create this rainbow. They create something that's like the combination of the both of them, and they're filling up each other's cup in a way. So I feel like this is a message that you two are going to create something really beautiful. I definitely get a lot of international vibes. Your spirit guides are even saying that you might send your children to international school. I'm getting something about French. So for some of you, you might send your children to like a French speaking school, kind of like a hybrid school. So keep that in mind. And I do feel like you will travel the world with this person, with your family, if you decide to have a family, and definitely a lot of international vibes. And I'm getting a great maturity about the relationship, but also about the whole family. Things feel organized, things feel stable, feels like you have money, feels very successful, very positive. Nothing negative here. Literally none of these cards are negative. This is all positivity here. We also have the Ace of Wands. So to me, what I'm getting is your life feels like you've reached that point of union or that point of completion, what you were always looking for when you meet your future spouse. And to me, it's like you just know internally that this is the right person for you. There's something deep within your being and your intuition where it just feels so safe. It feels so right. I'm also getting some Cancer vibes. So perhaps you or the spouse is a Cancer. Ace of Wands here is all about inspiration. It's also about action, forward movement. This also would represent a very strong physical relationship. So I feel like the chemistry between the two of you is potent. It's almost the type of relationship where other people might look at you and be kind of jealous because it seems like you have really strong physical chemistry, but that translates into emotional chemistry as well. And having the Ace of Wands here makes me feel like you and your spouse are meant to like inspire each other. And I don't think that you will do the same thing for a career. Like I do feel that you're different in some ways, but like I said, opposites attract. And I think that you two will never get bored of each other. There's great inspiration. There's always something to be learned from the other person. That's the energy here. We have Desert Passage as well. So what I'm going to say about this card is some of you might actually live in the desert is the first thing that's coming through. So that could be like more of a literal message for some of you, but trust that there's a divine plan. So here, I'm really getting pulled to international travel. I'm feeling like sometimes it might feel a little unstable because you don't know how long you're going to live in a certain place or where you're going to live like 3 years from now. Trusting there's a divine plan is really important. I'm getting a lot about even Egypt vibes. So some of you might live in Egypt or be drawn over that way in the world. And to be very honest, I feel like by you trusting there's a divine plan, you are going to just make the most lucrative and stable life with your future spouse. So I feel like some of you have a tendency to second guess yourselves, partly because you had maybe not so great relationships in the past, and that's totally normal. I mean, that makes a lot of sense, but I'm getting that with this person, you'll know pretty soon that this is a really significant person for you. You might not necessarily jump to the conclusion that this is your future spouse, but I think you will learn pretty quickly that this person fulfills you, that you have this great balancing, that there's a lot of stability here, that you inspire each other. So really the message here is just to trust. Trust that all of that is the case and that your intuition is accurate and on point. And the more you trust, the better it will be, is the message that's coming through. So make sure that whatever it is you are thinking or feeling, if it's positive, allow that to grow. If it's negative, really try to squash that as quickly as you can, because I really see this being such a positive relationship for you. There are no negative cards here. Like I said, there's no cards that would indicate any kind of hard feelings or animosity. One thing I will say is I do think that your future spouse will deal with a loss in the family during the course of your marriage, which is kind of obvious. Of course, that will eventually happen in everybody's lives, unfortunately. But I feel like that will be really hard for them, and I'm getting a lot of like motherly energy there. So just making sure that you're there for them at that point in time. Again, this is a pick a card reading. Only take what resonates. Please leave the rest. There's no obligation to follow everything down pat. This is your reading. You can interpret interpret it as you would like. But what I'm getting is a really positive partnership, a lot of inspiration, a lot of lucrative stuff going on here, really feeling like you both inspire each other and have a really beautiful and secure family. So I hope that this reading helped you today. I hope it gave you a little bit of clarity and guidance. Don't forget to enter the Wizio raffle down below. It is $95 and you are getting essentially 2 readings and a Soul Cards tarot deck if you win. And if not, you're just going to get a really in-depth reading, so no harm in that. If you like this video, please give me a big thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, share it if you feel so inclined. And if you would like a personal reading that is not on Wizio, like a live one, you can also book using the links below. Last but not least, we have a manifestation circle this Sunday and the theme is magic. So if you would like channeled messages from your guides on how to end your 2021 and step into your 2022 with power and magic, then please book your spot down below. All right, lots of love, and I will see you in the next video. Bye! All right, pile 2, welcome to your reading. So your first card is Justice, and we're using the Soul Cards deck. Let's see what else comes through here. You have the 2 of Swords. You have the Tower. Seven of Swords. And then we have the Rider-Waite Tarot deck, so let's pull some cards from here too. The 8 of Swords. The Queen of Cups. Okay, so as you know, I'm going to do the reading exactly as the cards are shown. Let's start over here with Justice. So the first thing I'm getting is that this person is like part of your soul path. Like you are meant to learn something from your experience with this person. Now, I feel like some of you are already in this marriage. Some of you are in a relationship with this person. Some of you are yet to be in it. What I'm getting is I'm getting a little bit of a push and pull energy, or at least that's how I would describe it. I feel like at times this person can come across as being very like hardcore, and at other times they can kind of feel a little distant is what I'm getting. And so when we see Justice, this is like the scales balancing, and also Justice is about lessons that come into our path karmically that we need to focus on and that we need to face. And so the first thing I was getting when I got this 2 of Swords card here is I feel like the 2 of you don't necessarily see eye to eye on everything. Like there might be things that you have disagreements about. I feel an immense physical attraction to this person. So I feel like they are the type of person where on face value, they seem very put together. They're very clean. They have a really nice way of how they present themselves. I feel like they dress really well. I feel like you are physically very attracted to them. There's a lot of chemistry there. I'm getting a lot of dark hair and almost like a musty or like a darker kind of scent. So they might even wear cologne, or they might really dress themselves really nicely. So I get that chemistry, but I'm also getting like you don't always see eye to eye, or you don't always agree. And part of the reason why I think this is I feel like you tend to be a little bit more forgiving and softer with your energy. Like for example, let's just say that you go to a restaurant and the waiter is taking forever and it's a really busy restaurant. I feel like you're the type of person to say, okay, this is a little frustrating, but given the situation, it's a busy restaurant. I'm not going to make a huge deal out of it. Let's just, you know, go somewhere else, or let's just kind of wait it out. Whereas I feel like your future spouse might be the type of person who gets kind of easily frustrated and angry because of this. So when we have the Tower here, this would indicate sometimes a little bit of an explosive energy or an energy of deep transformation. And when you're watching this, I want you to know the Tower is not a bad card. There's some weird preconception that people have where they think, oh, the Tower's so negative, it's so bad. It simply means unexpected or shocking. But whatever happens after the Tower is like a great cleansing and a great clearing of energy. So I feel like what you and this person need to understand is you might have some very hot conversations where they're kind of heated, and you might even be the type of connection where there's like this great physical attraction and you're angry at each other, but it creates that chemistry, if you know what I mean. But we have also needing to be understandable and practical with one another. So I feel like what you need to learn is to not let this relationship always be super intense, because the relationship is very charged. change. Like there's a energy here of push and pull, and it's competitive between the two of you, but also in a way that's very exciting, especially in the early days. But what I'm getting is towards the later days, this might make you feel a little bit anxious or a little bit trapped. Like we have the Seven of Swords and the Eight of Swords next to each other. And when we read the tarot, there's always a positive and a negative to everything. So if we're purely looking at the negative for a second here, the Seven of Swords would indicate that one of you might consider distancing yourself from the relationship, exiting the relationship, wanting to run away from the relationship. And when we look at the Eight of Swords, this would indicate that one or both of you feel trapped. However, if we're to look at this in a positive light, you could also see this as the Tower being that this relationship surfaces shocking things that you wouldn't otherwise face, that you have to face. It's part of your life path. You might want to run away. You might feel trapped. However, because of this, you have to figure out how to deal with it. And so there is like this great stalemate here when we see the Two of Swords and there is justice. Justice is about karmic lessons. So this relationship is supposed to help you understand, how can I develop as a person? How can I make sure that I'm not always living in this energy of intensity and hot-headedness and competition with my partner, but rather how can we unite? How can I extend the olive branch? And how can we be together in a more harmonious way? So having the Queen of Cups here suggests that you actually make it through this. This suggests that you actually are able to achieve the emotional balance and extending the olive branch that perhaps at the beginning of the relationship, it's kind of hard to do that. So let's see if there's any advice for you as you go on your journey with this person. We have within the next few weeks. Okay. We have don't stop. Oh, and we have big happy changes. Okay, cool. So this is about your future life with your spouse, remember. So within the next few weeks, something significant might be happening. For some of you, I actually think this is a proposal. It's like a very small portion of people watching the reading, but this is coming across as like proposal vibes to me. So I feel like some of you are getting into a marriage, agreeing to be engaged over the next few weeks. Don't stop is definitely encouraging you to go for it. This is a positive card. This is about momentum. This is telling you not to be afraid. There's no reason to have fears here. This is part of your karmic path. You will learn how to extend the olive branch with this person. For some of you, I'm getting this is actually an arranged marriage or a marriage where you didn't necessarily choose the person that you're going to end up with. But justice, again, this is a karmic lesson, part of your karmic path. I feel like it's still, regardless, a big happy change in your life. Being with this person feels like they are very charismatic. I feel like they support you financially, which is important. And I also feel like they can be very romantic at times as well. Although I'm getting that a lot of the romance is like that push and pull vibe. So there is that great, like deep chemistry there. And let me just see if there's any other oracle cards that want to come through here. Okay, staying focused, hold the course. And ascending the mountain, keep going forward. Okay, so these messages are all really similar. So for those of you where you got kind of like freaked out by some of the earlier messages, look, this is all building on each other. So we have staying focused, hold the course. We have keep going forward, ascending the mountain. We have don't stop. We have within the next few weeks. So all of this is building on each other. So my advice here is this is something that's in your path, and this is something that you're meant to follow. And like mountains, at times it might feel a little rocky or it might feel a little hard. However, what I'm getting is there's a great chemistry between the two of you, and there is something to be learned from each other. And you can see here on these mountains, there's like mist and things are not 100% clear, but there's this beautiful pink sky in the background and the sun is rising behind the mountains. So to me, it feels like you are meant to traverse the terrain. You're meant to keep going forward. And as long as you do that, I feel like these are big, happy changes for you. And some of you, I'm getting actually resistance towards this person, especially if it was an arranged marriage or a marriage that you feel like has been fast or you've been forced into it, but hold the course, because this is about you being able to discover things about yourself and also about them that you wouldn't be able to otherwise. if you did not stay focused. So my advice is don't look externally and be like, oh, I wish I did this or I wish I had that instead stay focused on where you are now, because by doing that, that's how you're going to unlock that major change within yourself, which can be like a tower moment that ends up surfacing the really light and positive energy. Like after the thunder is when the air is really clear, and those are the big happy changes waiting for you. What can I tell you about this person's appearance, just to kind of give you some other stuff? I'm getting dark hair, I'm getting brown eyes, I'm getting a lot of Middle Eastern vibes, so maybe a couple of you are in the Middle East or marrying a Middle Eastern. I also get some Indian vibes as well. I'm seeing a man that wears a pea coat, so I feel like this man is very stylish if you are looking for a man. If you're looking for a woman, I get a very regal vibe. In fact, your spirit guides are showing some characters from movies that I know, and all of them having like really long, like dark, beautiful hair, like very beautiful almond eyes, a lot of brown eyes too. So this is what your spirit guides are showing. I feel like you'll live in a really abundant house, like a place that feels big. It's much bigger than what is necessary for two people, but it feels like really beautiful. And if you even look here, this is some kind of temple, but to me, it's like also symbolizing the house as being like a really expansive space, a very beautiful space. I do think a lot of you have kids, but that's perfectly up to you. And your spirit guides don't want me to go into that right now. They want you to focus on your next steps in this connection and this relationship. So you don't even need to worry about that at this current moment in time, but just stay focused. Stay focused on your goals. Stay focused on what it is you want for life. I think it's important with this person to be very authentic and vulnerable with your emotions, even if it's not always comfortable. So make sure that you do that. And the more you do that, the happier you will be. And the last thing I'm going to say is this angel here is like blowing this horn, and this man here is looking through this telescope. So I feel like if you are authentic with your words and your truth, and you also are observant and you hold a lot of perspective, that combination is what makes you see these big happy changes. So make sure that you are authentic, you're always sharing your truth, and that you are also always observing and just seeing how things unfold. And in some ways, keeping your wits about you too. And through that combination, I feel like that is allowing more of the Queen of Cups energy. So that allows you to have more freedom, more nourishment here. And then this is bringing big happy changes. I see a lot of transformation happening in this relationship. Justice in the Tower will do that for you for sure. So I feel like the person you are when you enter this relationship is very different from the person you are 2 years down the line or 5 years down the line. And I hope that this gave you some clarity and guidance today. If you liked it, please give me a big thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, share it if you feel so inclined. Don't forget to enter the Wizio raffle. There are 12 spots left. You will be entered to win a Soul Cards tarot deck and another in-depth intuitive reading from me. So I'm sending you off with lots of love and light, and I will see you in the next video. Bye! All right, pile 3, welcome to your reading. So let's see what your first card is. You got the Ace of Cups, and let's shuffle a few more cards here to learn about your future life with your future spouse. Wow, you got the Four of Wands here. You got the Five of Swords. The Two of Pentacles. And I'm going to pull some oracle cards for this group. That's what I'm feeling called to. So let's see if there's anything else you need to know. Answering the call, the time is now. And joy and delight. All right, so let's focus on these. So the first thing I want to say is it seems like you and your future spouse have a really harmonic relationship. Like I feel like there's a lot of support and collaboration. Those are the first two words coming to my mind. And I'm getting a lot of India vibes. So if you're watching from India, this reading is most certainly for you. That's coming across pretty strong. If you're not from India, don't worry. It still applies to you. That's just a message that's coming through for some of you watching. So the first card we have here is the Ace of Cups. When we see the Ace of Cups, this is about abundance. This is about emotional fulfillment. So I really feel like you and your future spouse tell each other everything. That's the first thing I'm getting. I'm getting that there's no filter, but I'm saying that in a good way. Like there's no secrets that you two keep from each other. I feel like if there ever were to be an issue, you would communicate that clearly the second that you feel it. The feeling is almost like I cannot hold this in, or I can't keep it in. And I know that if if I keep in anger or any kind of repressed emotions, I'll actually damage the relationship. And I feel like because you're so honest with them and so open with them, that creates a lot of harmony, and that creates this beautiful partnership that we have here coming through with the Four of Wands. So it definitely feels like you two are friends before you're lovers, if that makes sense. But being lovers, you also have a very strong energy together. The Four of Wands is an energy of marriage, harmony, union, commitment. It is everything positive, everything harmonic. So I definitely get a really loving vibe from this pile. And I feel like in terms of your future life, I'm getting that some of you actually work together. So I don't know if you share a business with them or something like that, but to me it feels like a lot of collaboration. So either they advise you on what you're doing for work and you advise them, or you're actually doing something together. And I really wouldn't be surprised if you are running a company together, because at least for a couple of you watching, that is very much the vibe. That's the energy. This is an energy of people who are friends, colleagues, and lovers all in one. So I definitely feel like you're exchanging ideas back and forth quite a bit, and also being quite strategic is the energy I'm getting. So we have cups, we have wands. The wands are symbolic of inspiration, and I wouldn't be surprised if you and your future spouse are actually building something together, or at least planning to build something together. There's something about this connection that feels very formative, very new. It's almost like an innovative vibe. So I'm definitely getting like you two are best friends, tell each other everything, and want to build something together that will actually change the world. And I really feel like your future spouse is a very maternal or paternal figure, however you choose to see it, or whatever preferences you have, that applies. So they're a very strong parental figure. And I do think if you want children, you will have at least one, if not up to three, but it varies based on who's watching this. And I do get an energy of a boy, so your firstborn might be a boy. I'm seeing something about libraries as well, so I feel like you and your future spouse like to learn together. Like, this inspirational vibe is very strong. I wouldn't be surprised if you listen to audiobooks together, or just share a lot of similar passions when it comes to what you want to study, what you want to grow your mind with. It feels like you might even consider going to the same sources to find information, and I'm getting some of that information is widely available. Like, I'm seeing like CNBC and different news channels and stuff, but other information is like more, you have to go down a rabbit hole to find it. So if that resonates for you, I feel like you and your future spouse are kind of on the same wavelength when it comes to that. You might seek out the truth or seek out information that is not necessarily super available just off the get-go. So we also have the Five of Swords here. The Five of Swords is a little bit of an energy of struggle. It can be an energy of disagreement. The good thing about this card is it is not a very hard card, at least I don't think so. The energy of conflict that typically comes through in this card is conflict that's majorly happened in the past, and it just means there's a little bit more to come, or you at least have some more tools this time that you did not have last time, is kind of the energy of this specific card. And so I feel like one thing I'm getting is, for some of you, and this will only be for some of you, you and your future spouse are actually like high school or college sweetheart, and this card is representing that you have known each other for such a long time, you know how to deal with each other. Because what I'm getting is, at times you feel like your future spouse is a little bit moody. Sometimes they are really excited, sometimes they can get easily frustrated, and so at times you're wondering, like, who are they going to show up as today? But I wouldn't say that this is a very serious thing. Like, this is more a joke than it is a serious concern. I just feel like sometimes their emotions are a little bit more intense than you think. And that makes sense because you have the Ace of Cups here. So when we have the first card, this is representing the person or people being read for. So this being more of a couples reading about your future spouse in particular, that would indicate that your future spouse does have heavier emotions than other people. But on the flip side, of course, I do see them being pretty romantic. I'm getting images of having picnics, like sitting by the stream, really beautiful things. I feel like your future spouse is pretty tuned into nature. They like being outdoors. I feel like they like to live their life in more of a slow way, but a way where they're appreciating their environment and everything around them. And I feel like what they do for you is really thoughtful. Like anytime they have to give you a gift, whether it's Valentine's Day, whether it's your birthday, I feel like you can never guess what they would give you. Like it's like a surprise every time, and it's always really thoughtful. Like this is the type of person that would sit down and make you a scrapbook, or they would collect letters for you, or they would even send you letters if they were international and you two were out at distance. I feel like this person really, really cares about you, and that's very clear from the beginning. Your spirit guides are also showing a clock, like a timepiece. It's like one of those old-fashioned like golden clocks that, or I think it's called a timepiece, that people would keep at their belt. So I don't know if that's a message for one of you out there, but if it is, then this would be a strong indication that if your future spouse has that in their possession, then that's most definitely the person that you're destined to be with. And for some reason, I'm getting like that was from their grandfather. So whoever it is that is supposed to get that message, comment down below. I would love to hear that. For others of you, if that's not resonating, I do think the concept of time is something that is significant for your connection though. What I'm gonna say is I feel like the two of you might have slightly different interpretations of time, meaning that one person might be like really on the ball with time, always early, always showing up, you know, first to all the event, and the other person might be a little bit more slow and fluid with time. But what I'm getting is this relationship is timeless. So even if at times you're a little bit conflicted or a little bit annoyed that they don't take time as seriously as you, or vice versa, this whole relationship is timeless. This is a relationship where you've known each other in past lives, you will know each other in future lives, you are meant to collaborate and grow together. So it's a really beautiful connection. And I'm getting a lot of pastoral vibes as well. So if any of you want to live out in the countryside, especially if you want to live in England or want to live somewhere that feels like it has a big meadow or is by a stream, this is definitely the right pile for you, because I see you settling somewhere that I would describe as being pastoral. And definitely I do think if you would like them, kids are 100% there. I see the presence of kids. So if you want them, they're there for you. It's up to you whether you call them in or not. So we have the Two of Pentacles here. This would indicate a hard-working relationship, but what I like about this relationship is everything feels really even. Like normally with the Two of Pentacles, it's a little bit of a come and go energy. Like it's not this, it's not that. But in this specific deck, it's very even, and that's how I'm reading it for this particular reading. And what I want to say is I'm getting that, let's say that you both have responsibilities as parents, it feels like you are completely even with how you distribute the responsibilities. Like your future spouse is not the type of person who's going to turn up their nose at changing a diaper or at taking the baby out or taking the dog for a walk or doing the dishes. Your future spouse is the type of person who's ready to roll up their sleeves and do that. So for those of you out there who are like, I want a real man or a real woman or whatever, you are definitely going to find that in your future spouse. I feel like they're very practical, and they also don't think that they're too good for anything. They're a pretty humble person, and although they want to direct their time and energy accordingly, I do feel their humility, and I feel like they really are willing to show up as their best self all the time. And then we have answering the call and joy and delight. So a couple messages coming through here. So with answering the call, I'm getting that some of you are already in a relationship with this person and the time is now. So if you feel called, if you feel like you are meant to be with this person, perhaps it's time to get engaged, perhaps it's time to get married. This is a really delightful message to be receiving. What I do get is I feel a very peaceful vibe. I actually feel like your ancestors are watching over you. So I'm getting very strong grandmother energy here. And what I'm getting is when you look at this little deer here, it's almost like this deer is like your grandmother or some ancestor who's watching over you and actually trying to encourage you to move into the next phase of your life. So if you look at this woman, she's about to step through this passageway and she doesn't know exactly what she's going to find on the other side, but it looks peaceful and it also looks kind of mysterious. But what I'm getting is she's very protected in doing this. So if you've been kind of second guessing yourself or feeling like you should wait longer, well, especially if you already know who your future spouse is and you're in a relationship with them, you actually don't need to wait and you will be protected if you decide to move into the next phase. For those of you where you don't know who they are yet, of course, that's perfectly okay. I'm getting that that it won't be too long until some of you meet them. I do think it will happen in the next anywhere from 4 months to 7 months is right timing to meet your future spouse. For some of you, it extends a little longer, like up to 2.5 years, but that group is actually in the minority for this specific reading. So many of you have a good chance to meet them soon if you do not already know them. And I'm also getting that some of you are feeling very called to having children and are feeling like you're ready for that phase of your life. So this is also a message that if you are feeling ready to have children, if you're feeling like you're ready to kind of like call in those little spirits who are on the other side waiting for you, definitely the time is now, and you will only be happy by making this decision. You don't need to be afraid. You don't need to be upset. You are perfectly capable. Even if money feels tight and stuff like that, I get so much protection around you. I feel like your family would help you out, or there would be somebody there to help you out. So of course, be wise about this, but spiritually, it does feel like your spirit guides are kind of nudging you to go into the next phase of your life. So if any of this is resonating, of course, don't rush yourself, but this would be a strong message that the next phase is here for you. Then we have Joy and Delight as the last card here. Open your heart to joy. So what I get from this card is I think that your relationship with your future spouse is quite frankly very magical. To me, it feels like you're able to spread your wings, you're able to be enlightened in this connection and this relationship. It feels like you're twirling with delight. So I wouldn't even be surprised if one of your first dates was about dancing, because I'm getting a lot of energy of movement and dancing and being able to be free, feeling spacious. There's a feeling of liberation with this person that you just haven't gotten with other people before. And that's kind of what makes them special. Like I said, it's timeless. So when you're with them, it's like time just melts away and you just really enjoy your connection with them. And the good thing about this connection is it's always fun. You're always growing together. It's very rewarding. Like it's never going to be stagnant, which is very good. We like that in relationships when things are always fluid and moving. And especially with the water energy here with the Ace of Cups, that fluidity is so beautiful and so significant for your relationship in particular, because you're always moving through life together. So I hope that this reading helped you today. I hope it gave you some clarity and guidance. If you liked it, please give me a big thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, share it if you feel so inclined. We do have a manifestation circle this Sunday. Come join us. I would love to have you there. The link is down below. And then my Wizio raffle is also live, like I mentioned. So book your reading in the link down below. I believe we have 11 spots left at the time that I am recording this. So you will be entered to win a Soul Cards Tarot deck, which looks like this, and another free in-depth personal reading from me. So I'm sending you off with so much love and light. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye! All right, pile 4, welcome to your reading. So your first card is the Queen of Pentacles, which is beautiful. So let's see what else comes through about your life with your future spouse. This one is jumping out. You got the King of Wands. So some polarity here, but in a nice way. You got the Ace of Swords. You got the Nine of Cups. Your spirit guides are saying big business. I don't know if one of you is big in business. You got the Queen of Cups. And then I'm just going to pull some oracle cards as well for you all. Wandering Path, enjoy the journey. And Voyage of the Heart, love flows through you and to you. So let's work with this line of cards today. So we're starting over here with the Queen of Pentacles. And I want to point out we have the Queen of Pentacles next to the King of Wands. So when we see the Queen of Pentacles, this is symbolizing a relationship that is very secure, very maternal. The Pentacles are an earth energy. So you might be an earth sign, such as Virgo, such as Capricorn, Taurus, for example, or your partner might also be an earth sign. And I do get that this relationship is extremely stable, especially with your spirit guide saying big business. I feel like one of you in this relationship has a lot of money, is very secure financially, is the type of person who doesn't actually need to work that hard because they've figured out how to generate wealth, how to have that money. This could also indicate that one of you was born into a certain amount of wealth. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you are are living like a king or a queen, as these cards indicate, but it would mean that you do have a certain level of security, which most people would regard as being fairly comfortable. So this feels really healthy to me. We have this polarity between the Queen of Pentacles and the King of Wands. So this tells me one person is more practical, the other person is a little bit more innovative, a little bit more cutting edge. And so I feel like one of you is the one who kind of secures the household, whether that be through money or taking care of children if you have children. But I'm definitely seeing a house for you, and I'm seeing that the other person, whoever is doing the opposite, is a little bit more cutting edge, perhaps even a little bit rougher around the edges, but I'm saying that in a fun way. Like what I'm getting is, and I'm just saying this as an example, let's say that one of the parents is really into taking care of the kids, the other one is really into organizing social events and making sure that you still have time with your friends. So to me, it feels like there's a lot of balancing in this relationship, and it feels very healthy. I really like the vibe that I'm picking up. So I think that, let's say you're the more serious one, you might find your future spouse to at times be a little bit too frivolous, a little bit too fun, but you gotta love them because they have a great sense of humor. They can be the life of the party. I'm getting a British accent for some of them, so you may be dating a Brit or somebody from that part of the world. And I'm getting that your future spouse has a really good sense of humor. Now, if you associate with having a good sense of humor and being the life of the party, that would mean that the other person is the one who is more secure and secures the household. And it's funny how your spirit guides are communicating this to me, because when you think about securing the household, it's almost like securing a fort or securing a kingdom, for example. And so for me, it feels like this person is the one who makes sure that everybody in the household is safe. It's almost like they're drawing a metaphorical moat around the house where only good people can get in, only good influences can access your belongings, your house, your children. So one of the messages that's coming through really clearly is when you have kids, if that's what you want, it feels like your future spouse or you, whichever person this is going to be really mindful about hiring people like babysitters or tutors or even coaches and mentors to work with your children. Like you would not let just anybody get access to your children, because that's like giving away the keys to the kingdom. And I'm getting that your house has really good vibes. So I see a lot of natural light. I do think that you will have enough money to have other people helping you out in the house. So I get that there's you two, you and your spouse. I get children, but I also get other influences. So you might decide to hire a nanny. You might decide to hire some help with the cleaning, for example. But it feels like everybody who you hire, you really trust, you really care for, you care about them as a person as well. So that's super important. You're a very genuine person. Your spouse is the same. I get a lot of fairness, but for some reason, the way that your spirit guides are describing it is your house is like a kingdom. So definitely I'm getting a lot of money here, and I'm skipping this for a second just to draw us to the Nine of Cups. When we see the Nine of Cups, this is about having the wealth and abundance that you've always wanted and feeling like all of the influences that you've always wanted are available to you. This card typically describes a little bit of gluttony in a way. So somebody who has everything that they've always been dreaming of, and finally they've gotten it, and they're just so fired up about that and so happy. And so I feel like you will be emotionally fulfilled, but also physically. You have literally all the things that you could ever want, and your house feels really high vibrational. It feels really healthy as a place energetically. I feel like there's a lot of natural light. I'm seeing a huge open kitchen. So I feel like you really enjoy spending time in the kitchen with your family, and I'm seeing a very fun life. Now, I am seeing a lot of structure, so again, I feel like whoever this person is who's more structured is imposing a level of structure or a schedule upon the family, but to me that feels like something they do from the goodness of their heart to make sure that the family is kind of working. So it might be like the kids are scheduled a lot, like they know exactly when they're going to get picked up or when they're going to go to wrestling or gymnastics practice. It feels like the kids lead a really full life. So that is very beautiful. With the Ace of Swords here, I also get that money is something that is controlled in the family. So whoever is making money, whether it's you or your spouse or both of you together, it feels like there's a lot of strategy behind that. So I see you two investing, having like a larger investment portfolio, having people that advise you on what investments to make. You are not somebody to just throw around money willy-nilly. I feel like you and your future spouse actually care about where your money is going. I also see you being fairly charitable. So actually, you know, giving donations to charities that you feel are a good cause, wanting to make change in the world. I'm getting a lot of vibes around charities that help children in need, as well as some environmental charities. And I think also food donation or food banks are coming in as other charities that you would support. So definitely feels like although you have a lot of money, you have a really good heart, you're the type of person who wants to help the world and wants to help people in need. Even if that doesn't play into your career directly, it plays into how you use your money and how you want to make an impact in the world. So we also have the Queen of Cups here. I'm getting really good influences around you generally because you're very careful about who you choose to be in your life. You're the type of person where I think you're an empath, and you learned early on that you can't just be hanging out with anybody because that can definitely kind of influence your energy, whether for better or for worse. So there are some people who drain your energy. There are other people who fulfill your energy and kind of fill your energetic cup. And having this cup card here says to me that you are an empath. You're somebody who can pick up on energy very easily. So not only does this help you choose your future spouse, this also helps you choose your friends. And so I'm getting that the people you pick to be in your life are almost like filtered out. Like it's almost like you have a criteria to decide who to work with or who to bring into your inner circle. And I know I'm going to sound a little bit weird here, but I do think of it as a circle. I feel like you and your future spouse are together in the innermost part of the circle. You're the ones controlling the household. You're the ones who have the vision for how your life should be and the high vibrational energy that you want to create in this life. And then there's like the next circle, which is your close friends, your confidants, the people who kind of see behind the scenes of your life. And what I'm going to say is you and your future spouse might actually have a tendency to be like public facing. I feel like one of you makes quite a bit of money, and for that reason, they are of interest to the public or other people. And I'm talking about by the time you're in your 40s and 50s. So if you're younger watching this, give it some time to develop. But to me, it feels like there are many people who are going to be naturally intrigued by your relationship because this is a power couple relationship. This is the type of relationship that people dream of, and they see a really strong dynamic between the two of you. But it's almost kind of like your business partners, except the way that that manifests is how you control your house, how you lead your family, and your family is very polite and very well put together. And so other people are naturally kind of curious about this and kind of curious about how you and your spouse led this life and how you got there, how you built this, because it's pretty incredible. So I'm getting that you and your future spouse will have things that only the two of you know, which makes sense, but because of the public facing nature of your relationship, I feel like you keep some things under lock and key. It feels like tightly held or tightly kept secrets that are things that only you and your spouse know. And then there's the inner circle, and then there's circles around that, and it just kind of keeps growing. So definitely you're going to be very mindful of the type of environment that you create. I feel like you and your spouse are going to invest in your children's education. I'm getting a lot about wanting them to have a holistic education, wanting them to understand from a very young age all of the things that our normal society doesn't teach us, like how to meditate, how to grow your own food, how to invest, how to make money, how to be even entrepreneurial if that's what they choose. And I feel like you will be willing to teach your kids these topics, which our society for some reason sees as kind of taboo sometimes, or kind of out of the box, or something that you don't normally learn until you're in your 20s or early 30s. I feel like you're going to want to give your kids that understanding from a young age. So we also have Wandering Path and Voyage of the Heart. I'm going to start here with Voyage of the Heart. So love flows through you and to you. So this makes sense to me because to me, you are the channel for creating this wonderful high vibrational household that I'm seeing. There's a lot of love in this space. I get a lot of light, both energetically and physically. So I feel like your house is big, it's clean, it's well kept. There's nothing clogging it up energetically. Like you're somebody who keeps your house very nicely. And because of that, the love circulates throughout the house very easily. So I feel like when people visit, they'll be like, oh my gosh, your house is so beautiful. I love the way that you laid it out, and I love the way you decorated it. And what they're feeling is the energy of the house and the energy that you've put into it, because the second they step into your space, it's almost like they're hit with this peaceful energy and this loving energy. And so that's why you're so mindful of who you spend time with, who you allow your children to spend time with, all of that stuff. And just to be clear, you give your children a lot of independence, but I think you teach them to be mindful about where they're putting their energy and the types of people they want to hang out with or associate with. So that's really beautiful, and that creates a really wonderful ripple effect for not just your children, but everybody who they interact with, and like circles, it goes out from there. So I feel like you and your future spouse are the ones who create this wonderful foundation. And I feel like one thing I will say is I'm getting that your future spouse has worked in some stressful environments in the past. For example, they might have been an executive on Wall Street or working in real estate, some kind of industry that is just pretty intense, like things are always moving. And so I feel like they take all of the tools and knowledge of what they did and they're able to channel that into leading more of a balanced life, but still being highly practical at the same time. So this person that you're marrying is what I would describe as being highly savvy, because they have been in environments that have been very stressful, almost cutthroat and taxing, but that's allowed them to roll up their sleeves, weather the storm, and end up creating a really lucrative and sustainable life for you and for them. And I see this just being a really beautiful partnership where the two of you are learning together and really creating the best life for your family that you could possibly imagine. So if you're watching this and you don't want to have kids, that's perfectly fine. Just think of this as you and your spouse. It doesn't have to be children as well, but I am getting that many of you will want to have children, or even other influences like dogs, cats, animals in your household, and it feeling very high vibrational. So we have wandering path, enjoy the journey. So to me, this is like a reminder for us all to slow down a little bit, but also just enjoy what it is that you're creating. I feel like you and your future spouse have a tendency to focus on the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, but I do think at the same time you have balance. So I'm not trying to say that you're really cutthroat, because that's not the vibe I get at all. I think it's just because you are highly scheduled, or your spouse is highly scheduled, whichever one of you this is, you might have a tendency to kind of always focus on what is the next phase, what is the next thing. So this is a reminder to make sure that you drop into the present. And this is particularly important when your children are between 3 and 6 years old, because even though there's going to be so many things to plan for, so many events to go to, so many different tournaments that you have to take them to for gymnastics and wrestling and all the different things they're involved in, I feel like this is a reminder to just drop into the present moment and enjoy them being young, because it's so fun to have them being young. So just enjoy that and just see where it goes. So I hope that this reading gave you some clarity and guidance. If you liked it, please give me a big thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, share it if you feel so inclined. If you would like a personal reading, you can book using the links down below. We do have a manifestation circle this Sunday, so come and join us. The link is down below. And lastly, don't forget to enter the Wizio raffle. We have 11 spots left at the time that I'm recording this, and you will be entered to win a Soul Cards Tarot deck, as well as another in-depth intuitive reading from me. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!